Welcome to Drone Pilot MBA. This deep dive is really all about helping you, the drone business owner, figure out how to strategize and, protect your operations.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of uncertainty swirling around right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Specifically, we're diving into how potential drone bans could shake things up, especially thinking about, brands like DJI, the Chinese-made ones everyone uses, how that hits your equipment planning, your whole business, really.
Right. And for this deep dive, we're leaning heavily on a really great article by Tony Marino. He's the producer here at Drone Pilot MBA.
That's right.
The article's called "Are Drone Bans Putting Your Business Strategy at Risk?" Over in Drone Business Strategy magazine. Plus, we're bringing in some super important commentary from Russ over at 51 Drones.
Ah, Russ, yeah, good stuff.
So the goal today is kind of exploring how these two experts see this whole landscape shifting and, what it actually means for your bottom line. That's the key.
Okay, yeah, let's get into it. Tony Marino kicks things off with this core idea that really stuck with me. It's not just about the gear specs.
Right.
It's about how strategically you're thinking about everything. His mantra. Think strategy, not just specs.
Love that.
It just nails it, doesn't it? This isn't only a drone ban thing, it's like fundamental business sense.
Oh, really?
It's not if your favorite drone gets impacted, but really when it happens, how bad it gets. And crucially, what you are going to do about it. That's what matters. So let's talk about the elephant in the sky here, DJI. I mean, they dominate the market, and let's be honest, for good reasons. Their engineering, top-notch. Prices are competitive, innovation.
Unmatched, really?
Yeah, unmatched. But now, with all these geopolitical tensions ramping up, DJI drones are fast becoming, a bit of a political hot potato.
That's a good way to put it. And that's exactly where these quote-unquote red flags are coming from. You've got U.S. government agencies talking pretty loudly about potential risks, data privacy, national security, all that. Now, we've already seen some bans, but mostly in government, defense sectors.
Okay.
But here's the thing that should grab your attention as a business owner. There's this growing push to expand those restrictions.
And ban them more.
Into broader markets. We're talking private businesses, maybe even hobbyists down the line.
Okay, that's where it gets very real for, the small operator, the person doing real estate shots, content creation, maybe event work.
Exactly.
Because imagine if that push actually succeeds. Okay, maybe the FAA doesn't ground the drone you own right now.
Unlikely for existing ones.
But what about future upgrades? Or replacing a damaged one? Suddenly that could get really expensive.
Painfully expensive, yeah.
Or just unavailable, Tariffs, retailers pulling back, supply chain chaos. The risk of your workflow getting seriously disrupted is, it's real. And speaking of those government efforts, Russ from 51 Drones, he had a pretty sharp take on who isn't the focus right now.
Oh, yeah. He really just cuts through the noise there. Russ said it point blank. I think I'm quoting him right. Nobody in Washington is looking to fund the development of a $699 camera drone for hobbyists.
Ooh, direct.
Totally. And he's spot on. The government's focus, all the talk, the potential funding, it's squarely on defense, big enterprise stuff, industrial solutions.
Right, where the big contracts and national security angles are.
Exactly. So that leaves you, the small operator, straddling this awkward middle ground, just waiting, wondering what options are even going to be there for your needs.
Okay, so Russ points out where the government isn't looking. And then Tony Marino takes those insights and spins them into actual strategic moves we can make.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's the first big thing we need to brace for? Especially thinking about the gear we already have.
Okay, the number one thing is probably anticipating that pricing shift. It's almost baked in at this point.
Meaning higher prices for DJI.
Yeah, almost certainly. Given the whole geopolitical climate, tariffs, trade limits, it's going to push those DJI prices up. It feels less like an if and more like a when.
Right. So that $999 drone upgrade you had your eye on?
Could easily be a $1,500, maybe $1,600 decision next year. It's a significant jump.
Wow. Okay. So Tony's advice here is really critical then. Start factoring that in now, like bake inflation and access delays into your planning.
Precisely. And it means your current gear.
Yeah.
It might need to last you longer than you originally planned.
So budget for careful maintenance, treat it well, longevity becomes key.
Absolutely. Meticulous care is now strategy.
Which leads, I guess, straight into the next strategic point. Start looking around, diversify your equipment sources.
Yep.
He's talking about actively researching alternatives, right? Non-China-based options like Skydio, Autel, Parrot. Are those really at the same level yet, or is there still a noticeable gap compared to DJI?
Well, look, it's fair to say they are not DJI, not in every single way.
Right.
But that gap, it is closing, undeniably, especially for a lot of commercial uses.
Okay.
And the strategic win here isn't necessarily dumping your DJI gear tomorrow. It's about knowing what else is out there before a policy change forces your hand.
Ah, gotcha. So having an informed plan B.
Exactly. Know your options. Avoid that panic buy situation down the road. It's preparation, not reaction.
Makes sense. Okay, and Tony's next bit of advice is pretty specific. He says track Section 232 like it's a stock report.
Yeah, that one's important.
Why? What is Section 232 and why is it such a critical signal for drone businesses?
Okay, so Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act, it's from way back in 1962. It's basically a mechanism for security investigation.
Security investigation into.
Right now, into DJI and Autel specifically. It's asking the question, does importing or using their drones impair U.S. national security? Now, here's the kicker. This specific section gives the U.S. Department of Commerce and the president power to slap on restrictions, think tariffs, without needing Congress to vote on it.
Whoa. So they can move fast.
Very fast. It allows for immediate action. And Russ from 51 Drones really nailed this point. It's not just about cyber risks or spying. It's about economic national security, too.
Economic national security. How so?
It looks at whether imports are damaging U.S. industries that are vital for defense or just the general economy. Like, remember the steel and aluminum tariffs back in 2018? Same kind of mechanism.
Ah, okay. I see the parallel.
And Russ basically predicted, look, this investigation is probably going to conclude that, yeah, Chinese drone dominance is harming U.S. industry, which, conveniently supports the whole narrative about needing to boost domestic production.
So it's a powerful tool that could be used quickly, and the outcome seems somewhat predictable based on the current narrative.
Pretty much.
Okay, then Tony's advice to watch it like earnings makes total sense. Know what it is, watch for updates, and have a plan for how you'll respond when or if that decision lands.
Exactly. Be ready.
All right, so moving along, Tony also mentioned expecting a gap in the consumer market. This loops back to what Russ was saying about a vacuum appearing if DJI gets too expensive or restricted.
Right.
What kind of opportunities does that vacuum create?
Well, it creates space for other players to step up strategically. And it's not just about flying the drones anymore.
Right.
It's about solving the problems that arise in this changing ecosystem. Maybe you're a manufacturer with a new drone idea. Maybe you're great at marketing and can promote these new alternatives.
Or repair, specializing in non-DJI gear.
Exactly. Repair technicians, educators, training pilots on different systems.
Yeah.
Anywhere there's a need created by this shift, there's an opportunity to fill that gap. It's about adding value.
Finding your niche in the new landscape.
Okay.
And the last piece of practical advice, which we kind of touched on, really extend the life of the gear you already own.
Yeah, super practical, super important right now.
Like, this is maybe not the year to push your drone to its absolute limits on risky flights, right?
Probably not. It really hammers home the need for meticulous care. Set up solid maintenance routines. Invest in good cases. Protect it during transport.
Because getting parts or a whole new drone
could be delayed, could be difficult, could just be way too expensive pretty soon. Think of your current drone as a really valuable asset you need to preserve.
It's a mindset shift, isn't it? From, I'll just replace it if it breaks, to how do I make this last as long as possible?
Totally. Asset maximization is the name of the game now.
Okay, so looking ahead then, if we try to crystal ball this a bit, what can we realistically expect to see happening in the drone world? Tony laid out 5 forecasts, right?
Yeah, 5 sort of digestible takeaways on what the future might hold. What they boil down to is basically change is coming. Maybe not like a sudden earthquake, but definitely like a rising tide you can't ignore.
Okay, what's number 1?
First, DJI isn't just going to vanish overnight, but getting their stuff. Probably going to get more expensive, maybe harder to find within the next, say, 12 to 24 months.
Okay, a gradual squeeze, what's 2?
Second, expect tariffs and sanctions to push domestic innovation. But, and this is key, that push will mostly be for the big stuff. Enterprise, industrial drones.
Not the affordable commercial ones for small guys.
Probably not the main focus, no. Which leads to 3. We will see independent U.S. drone builders emerge, but people will likely adopt them slowly, unless the price and performance are genuinely competitive right out of the gate.
Makes sense. Adoption takes time. number 4.
Fourth, the smart, business-savvy pilot. They'll adapt early. They either diversify their equipment, like we talked about, or maybe pivot their services so they aren't totally reliant on one brand.
Proactive adaptation. And the last one, number 5.
And fifth, the long view. Eventually, we'll likely end up with more options, a stronger, probably more diverse drone ecosystem overall. It might just be a bumpy road getting there.
A bumpy road, but maybe a healthier market in the end. Okay, so wrapping this all up, Tony Marino's main message seems really clear and honestly pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Loyalty to DJI is understandable. Sentiment is strong, but sentiment doesn't pay the bills. Strategy does.
Boom. That's it right there.
Yeah.
It's really just an urgent nudge for you listening. Start thinking like a CEO, not just a fan of a particular brand. You got to prepare. Be ready to pivot. Position yourself as someone who sees change coming instead of, getting caught flat-footed by it.
Yeah. And hey, if you happen to be one of those innovators out there, maybe tinkering in your garage with an idea for the next great American-made drone.
Oh, yeah.
Russ's words are basically a call to action. Do it now.
Yeah, he was pretty emphatic. The market is definitely hungry for alternatives, the timing. It really won't get much better than this. He even joked that, even a potato with propellers with an American flag sticker might sell like crazy right now.
He might not be wrong.
Probably not. But seriously, the ultimate upside to all this disruption, even if it's tough for a bit, is more choice, more competition. That's usually good for everyone in the long run. Builds a healthy industry.
A healthier, more diverse industry. Okay. So the big question for you listening is, what does all this mean for your next strategic move? How are you going to proactively shape the future of your drone business with all this change happening? Lots to think about. Be sure to read the full article and much more at aerialnorthwest.com. Thanks for joining us and keep on droning.